And one memory I have is when we were all in the cottage at the same time. My Uncle Lou ended up sleeping in the bathtub. Gail and I were out on the lawn in sleeping bags, and you made a sign. Friedland was my mother's maiden name. Friedland's Cottage, no vacancy. But it was such a great family feeling. Because I remember the tar being melting in the hot summer sun, and we would tiptoe across, looking out for the worst of the melted parts, and go barefoot across gravel and across the tar.
A group of us would get together and walk out of Chapman Lake, walk up the big road out of Chapman Lake. There was a place, a penny candy store, and it was called Torsini's. And we were allowed, just a group of us kids, no adults involved. However, we did have to take a big sister. So I think Ricky came, Fernie came, maybe Susie came. I mean, we were given a nickel or a dime, and we would come back with a good-sized bag full of candy. I mean, there were Jawbreakers and Tootsie Rolls and sweet and sour things and caramel things. So we did that a couple times a summer.
Well, it was a shed. It was full of junk.
Yeah.
Yeah,
As a matter of fact, it had my crib in there.
It had your crib in there.
It was my crib that we brought from, I don't know, it must have been Grandpa's house for Joey when he was a baby, and he was in that crib up at the lake. And then when he outgrew that, that went into the shed. That would be like 84 years old today.
Well, I guess it's not there anymore, huh?
It's too bad, because it's an antique.
Yeah, I know. Would have been worth money, right?
I remember playing in Aunt Ida's garage, and I remember finding charcoal and pulling chairs out of the garage and writing on them in charcoal, and we were having a grand old time, and Aunt Ida came home and screamed at us because we messed everything up and we were writing on the chairs, but we had a great time.
One time, I swam out to the raft, had a two-piece bathing suit on, swam out to the raft, sitting there. Somebody pushed me off. There was a bunch of guys out there. Somebody pushed me off. I never hit the water. The bottom of my bathing suit caught onto a nail, and I was dangling off the side of the raft. And the only ones there to help me get off were the guys, and it was a true embarrassment. Really embarrassing.
We lived next door to the Levy's, and I used to sit on my porch and look straight down to the lake, and it was my moments of peace because I could see the sky reflected in the lake. But there were two people that had the best laughs ever, and one of them was Stevie Levy. He would sit out on his porch and watch TV, and I would hear him laugh, and it would just make me laugh. I then had, my bedroom was out on the back porch, and Mrs. DeMauro lived in it was like a little trailer house, and she would laugh watching TV. I remember laughter from the lake more than anything. So I'd hear Mrs. DeMauro at night, and I'd hear Stevie in the daytime.